Hello folks, I'm making a quick video on the initial values in Vensim based on some questions I've gotten from folks. I think it's appearing in the discussions maybe it was a direct email, but I thought I'll throw this out to everyone. And this is, if you download this from Module 10, this is the BAS diffusion model. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump through to the slides. And the model here is in the slides. We have the list of equations you can use to develop or build the BAS diffusion model. And the question is coming, there's an initial number of potential customers, and there's a gray line here. And historically, what Vensim would do is each stock requires an initial value. And you could have the initial value as a variable outside of the stock. It would be connected by one of these gray lines to the stock. And then when you simulate, it's just going to take it as an initial value. And if you hit Synthesim, this would allow you to change the initial value relatively easily, is why we've done this. And I sort of like what the software is doing now. The software is completely hiding those links, is what's occurring. And any stock can only be increased or decreased by a flow. So any variable that's connected to it really isn't doing anything. It's just setting up the initial value. And what I'm going to do now is jump over to Vensim. And this is the BAS diffusion model that we have given you folks. And let me close this. And so what I'm going to do is, so this should run right now if I'm not mistaken. Yep, it's running. I'm clicking on that stock and it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's declining. The adopters would be doing the opposite. They will be increasing S-shaped growth. So there we go. The model is doing what it's supposed to be doing. But there's no link from this initial potential adopters. I'm going to go to f of x and I'm going to click on the adopters and I'm going to get rid of the initial potential. I'm just going to delete it. And I believe, whoops, I'm going to delete it again. I clicked in the wrong place. I think I want it removed from down here also is what it is. I think I can just, nope. Every time I click on it, it's showing up an initial value. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to click Close. And now we can see this initial value is linked to this. I'm going to go up to my, and delete this, the garbage can there. And now I'm going to go to f of x. And I can see that this is incorrect. It's not showing up anywhere. So I need an initial value for this is what's going on. And I think there's a couple of ways we could do this. In Vensim, I'm just going to recommend one so it's not confusing. I'm going to close this. There's no initial value in here, and that's why the potential adopters isn't showing up. I'm going to click on the arrow key. I'm going to click once on the initial potential adopters and go to the potential adopters. I'll straighten this up. So it's allowing us to see this link. And now when I go into f of x and I click on this, for the initial value, I can see the initial potential adopters is in here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to tell it OK. And that link then disappears. I think they're making it turn white or something. In the diagram I showed you before, it was gray. That's historically what has been occurring. And yes, the gray line's right here saying that it's just used for the initial condition and it's not changing anything else. And when I go to Vensim now, it's just hiding it, which I really think is appropriate. And what's happened since I built that previous model, that we're using Vensim, I think the about Vensim, it's 10 something now, 10.2. So Vensim has improved over time. They're continually making, they're fixing bugs and they're adding new features. And this is a new feature that's been added to the model. So that is why the difference is. Hopefully this clarifies things and doesn't confuse them more. If you find this more confusing, please just drop a note into either the discussion or send me an email and I will respond and maybe try to do this video so that it's more understandable, or we could hold an office hour just to discuss this. Hope this makes sense. Thanks. I'll see you folks in class.